We see a random man getting possessed by a demon through his cell phone. He goes berserk and lunges at the sanitation worker. They get into a brawl, and he throws him into a building. Suddenly, the possessed man grabs an axe, lunges at the sanitation worker, but he kills an innocent civilian. The sanitation worker freaks out and runs for his dear life. Tired of running, he decides to face the demon head, which is a super bad idea. The demon pins him to the wall and starts literally sucking the life out of him. Suddenly, a strange surge of power engulfs the sanitation worker, and he uses his Uno reverse and pins the maniac to the wall. Now let's head back to the beginning and see how all this weird events came to be. The movie opens with a backstory of how humans accidentally opened a portal to the supernatural world, and demons came flooding into our reality. The demons started spreading chaos everywhere, and things were looking terrible for mankind. Fortunately, a group known as the necromancers showed up. They possessed tremendous magical powers and managed to protect humanity from harm. Basically, the magical Avengers before it was cool. However, one particularly insane devil discovered a way to travel through the internet. Now demons could possess humans through mobile phones. Imagine getting possessed because you forgot to skip an ad. In the present day, we meet Howard and Ringy, who are working to clean a sewage system. Well, Howard is working. Ringy is busy staring at his phone like every mobile gamer during work hours. Because he's distracted, Ringy makes a mistake, and Howard gets completely drenched in sewage waste. Bro just got hit with the deluxe edition. Ringy apologizes and helps Howard clean himself up. Suddenly, Howard's foster brother arrives in his car and tells him he'll have to work overtime because their father is away on business. Howard is understandably annoyed. The man can't even finish his sewage shift in peace. As they head to another job, Ringy tries to cheer him up by singing songs and cracking jokes. Ringy then shows Howard a mobile game where players can catch ghosts. The second he presses play, his user data gets uploaded into some mysterious demonic database. Bro accepted the terms and conditions without reading them. Somewhere else, an unknown woman enters a server room. She approaches a man tied to a chair and flips a switch. Suddenly, the man is flooded with some strange energy. Meanwhile, Ringy is trying to catch ghosts in the app, but can't find any. Howard thinks the whole thing is ridiculous and tells him not to get obsessed with some random mobile game. Honestly, Howard is the only person in this movie using common sense. Suddenly, Ringy detects a ghost. He immediately jumps out of the truck to catch it. The dedication is insane. As he catches the ghost, Howard suddenly experiences a painful shock in his head. Thinking it's another migraine attack, he quickly takes his medication. After some time, they notice a strange device attached to a nearby pole. Ringy explains that it's called a necropod and claims it helps the game run smoothly with better graphics. Howard, however, gets a strange feeling from the device. And considering this is a horror movie, trusting your instincts is usually a good idea. Elsewhere, several important people are having a meeting with the mysterious woman. They inform her that over 1.2 million users are currently playing the game. The woman threatens them and demands that the pods be activated as quickly as possible. Nothing suspicious about that at all. Meanwhile, 3 people are fighting possessed humans. After completing their mission, they climb into a van filled with strange technology. One of them notices that necromancers across the city are being murdered. They suspect that a woman named Finnegan is responsible. On the other side of town, Ringy points his game's camera toward Howard and immediately freaks out. The app reveals strange magical markings surrounding him. Bro accidentally discovered the main character. Ringy presses a button on the app. Suddenly, Howard is struck by a powerful shock and gets launched out of the truck. The 3 necromancers and the mysterious woman immediately detect Howard's massive magical energy signature. The woman quickly sends a demon through the network. A random pedestrian becomes possessed and attacks Howard. Imagine minding your business and becoming a boss fight. The possessed man charges at Howard. Suddenly, strange magical power erupts from within him, and he defeats the attacker. Unfortunately, the effort exhausts him, and he collapses. Before anything worse can happen, the 3 necromancers arrive and rescue him. They discover that an implant in his neck has been damaged, and quickly replace it. When Howard wakes up, the man introduces himself as Luther. The 2 women with him are his daughters, Molly and Torkel. Luther explains that Howard is a necromancer. Not just any necromancer, but potentially one of the strongest. No pressure or anything. Necromancers hunt demons and protect humanity. However, Luther believes Howard belongs to a special bloodline with the ability to trap demons inside magical boxes. He inherited this power from his parents. Luther then reveals the truth about Howard's mother and father. They were among the strongest necromancers ever. Together, they defeated hundreds of demons. But when demons learned how to travel through the internet, Howard's mother, Finnegan, attempted to transfer her soul into the network. Honestly, putting your soul into the internet sounds like the start of every bad idea. The plan failed. Instead, demons took control of her body. Finnegan then began hunting necromancers and absorbing their souls. She even came after Howard when he was young. Fortunately, his dad saved him and implanted a device in him which suppressed his magical abilities. This comes as a shock to Howard, and he has a hard time believing all this gibberish stuff. I mean, if someone told your family drama involved demons and magic powers, you'd probably think someone hacked reality. On the other side, we see the unknown woman, who's actually Finnegan, learning of the existence of her son. Molly tells them that they're surrounded by possessed men. They try to escape from the building, but Ringy gets shot. This shocks Howard, and he unintentionally casts a magic spell. Luther asks Molly and TL to take Howard and run. He gets ready to face the enemy alone, but his luck runs out, and Finnegan kills him with her magic. The group runs to a car. Howard gets overwhelmed by all this crazy stuff and emotions. He tries to run away, but gets hit by a police car and loses consciousness. He wakes up in the hospital and sees Ringy hanging on the wall, which scares him. Ringy explains that he somehow became a ghost, and because of Howard's necromancy, he is now stuck with him. Howard thinks he is hallucinating, but Ringy proves him wrong by doing some weird ghost things. Suddenly, Ringy senses someone coming and hides in the shadows. The door opens, and Finnegan enters along with a possessed doctor. She tells him that she is his mother, and that she has been searching for him for a long time. She asks him to join her and gives him a test of her powers. Finnegan then takes out a weird box which has a demon soul inside and asks him to plug it into his head. Because apparently, plugging mysterious demon hardware into your brain is still considered a valid life choice in this movie. Suddenly, Molly barges in and shoots her away while TL takes down the possessed doctor. Molly then asks Howard to come with her, and he immediately agrees. While traveling, they tell him that if he had plugged that box into his head, his body would have gotten possessed. Please, the recap of this particular movie took a lot of energy for me to make. Please subscribe to get me to 100 subscribers. I don't think it's really that much. Okay, back to the movie. They take him to a building where Ringy follows them. Molly tries to shoot Randy, but Howard stops them, and Randy explains to them how he came to be. They show him the ghosts which are being absorbed by the Necrot through the mobile game. Molly suspects that Finnegan's goal is to make a giant pentagram circle throughout the city and become immortal. Somehow, their only chance to know the truth is to understand the mechanics of necrotronic pods. However, there's a problem. It is guarded by a powerful wrath. Howard is still hesitant because he doesn't know how to use his powers. Molly then tells him that he needs to train his magic and takes him to their hideout. This hideout is like Batman's Batcave with modern technology and all that stuff. It basically looks like Batman discovered Wi-Fi and got carried away. Molly takes out a punching bag and asks him to push it away with magical power. He tries to apply his magic, but he can't manifest the energy. Molly then channels some of her energy into him, and this gives him a feel for how to manifest the energy inside him. This time, he knocks the punching bag out with just a scream, which shocks everyone. They then show him the Necro suits, which have anti-possession abilities. He wears the suit, which seriously looks like Iron Man wearing a Batman costume. Okay, so he gets ready for his first devil hunting mission. They show him the Necro portal, where they insert demon souls from the trap box. Once the soul gets into the portal, it takes its true form, and then they finish it with an annihilation gun called Betsy. Howard successfully manages to transfer the demon's soul from the box to the portal, and TL takes it out by shooting it with old Betsy. Finnegan learns about one of her demons dying through her network, and she asks her minion to be ready with the troops. Molly makes a plan where they will sneak through the sewer system to the isolated Necrot. TL will take out the Wrath with a plasma gun, and Howard will deactivate the communication system by detonating the EMF bomb so that Wrath won't inform Finnegan about the attack. Molly will then throw the pod, and Howard will catch it. Perfect plan, which in movie language means everything is about to go horribly wrong. But when they try to execute it, Ringy pulls a prank and scares Howard. He accidentally pushes the button and misses the EMF bomb, which makes TL miss her aim. Ringy picked the absolute worst moment to test his comedy career. Wrath quickly sends a signal to Finnegan and disappears. Molly sticks to the plan and tries to cut the Necrot. Wrath then attacks Howard and tries to harm him, but TL comes in time and saves him. Suddenly, a man from the street gets possessed through his phone and comes after them. Molly takes out the Necropod and regroups with Howard. However, they're being followed by possessed humans. They attack Howard's group and knock everyone out. Finnegan then tries to talk with Howard through one of the possessed humans. She again asks him to join her, but he declines and blasts his magic energy. This makes Finnegan even more angry. Howard and the group return to the hideout, and they force open the Necropod. It turns out the pod has a head inside it. Molly remembers him as Uncle Dave and asks him what exactly is happening. Dave then tells them that every pod has a necromancer's head inside. Finnegan is powering them with dead souls and feeding them with negative energy. She wants to create a city-wide pentagram, and every connection point has a necrot as the energy source. She wants to absorb every living soul from the city. This will make her powerful enough to control the entire internet, and then the entire planet will be her playground. Basically, she wants admin privileges over Earth. I just want to remind to you again to subscribe and support my efforts. Hearing this, Molly destroys the necrot, and she decides to send her soul into the system and destroy it from inside, just like Howard's mom did at the beginning. They reach the nearest server system and get to transfer Molly's soul. However, TL rushes and transfers her soul instead, letting Molly do it. This shocks Molly, but to her surprise, TL manages to enter the system successfully, and she goes near the center of the system. But Finnegan gets alerted about the breach, and she sends her own soul into the system and chases TL's soul around. Molly then asks Howard to use his power to pull out TL, but Howard hesitates and ends up getting TL killed. Molly gets devastated seeing her sister like this. Her whole family got destroyed, and she starts blaming Howard for this. She even suspects that he is working for Finnegan. Suddenly, Ringy notices a weird voice coming from the trap box and learns that it is actually TL. Somehow, her soul found a way into the box. They quickly take the box to the necro portal. Howard then puts in his magic and manages to successfully summon her in a liquid body. Molly's eyes get wet, and she hugs her sister. TL then informs her that she has memorized the map of the entire system and that she knows where Finnegan's hideout is. She explains that her new body now has a different ability. If her body gets in contact with fire, it will explode. Definitely not the kind of superpower you'd brag about. TL then comes up with a plan to attack the building. She barges into the center of the pentagram, which is the tall building, and starts taking out all the possessed humans. Meanwhile, Howard and Molly sneak into the mainframe room. They connect the mainframe to the trap box and wait for TL to do her job. However, the pentagram is now complete and Finnegan attaches herself to the system. Suddenly, souls begin to slowly leave people's bodies across the city. Meanwhile, with Ringy's help, TL manages to reach the upper floor but gets shot down by the plasma cannon. They take TL to Finnegan, where TL quickly goes near her and lights herself on fire. This destroys Finnegan's body, and the demon soul along with TL gets trapped in the system. Now comes the tricky part. Howard needs to pull Finnegan's soul and trap it in the box. However, he applies too much magical energy and ends up breaking the box. At this point, Howard and magical devices are just not getting along. Left with no other option, Molly asks Howard to try again and connects the plug inside her. She gets possessed by Finnegan's demon soul and attacks Howard. However, he quickly activates her suit's anti-possession mechanism and immobilizes her. He takes her to their van and loads up the trapping box. This time, he calms himself and pulls out Finnegan's soul and transfers it into the trap box. Molly comes to her senses and thanks Howard for not failing this time. But their work is not over yet. They have to put the soul through a necro portal and destroy the demon using a plasma gun, aka the Betsy. They get ready for the demon and load up the box. Howard carefully summons the demon, and Molly gets ready with the gun. However, the demon brings TL with him. This makes Molly hesitate, and the demon attacks them. He knocks out Howard and grabs Molly. She tries to resist, but he cuts her hand and throws her away. This angers Howard, and he uses all of his power to push the demon away. However, it comes back and tries to munch on his soul. Molly, with her remaining strength, fires the plasma cannon and destroys the demon. When Howard wakes up, he sees TL crying as Molly is not waking up. He then carries her into the necro portal and feeds her his soul energy. Her arm gets fixed with a liquid-like arm, and she wakes up. She thanks Howard, and they share a kiss. So there you have it, the recap of the supernatural fantasy sci-fi movie Necrotronic. Please subscribe to Roger Recaps. It took a lot of effort to make this video, so do subscribe and follow if you made it this far. And I'll see you in the next video.